Good morning, everybody. My name is Ian Langmead. I'm Commend UK's bid manager. I've been with the company for nearly 10 years, but actually in comparison to the majority of the rest of the team at Commend, I'm actually still quite new. I've got people that have been in the company for 25, 30 plus years. So a brief introduction to Commend, just to provide some kind of context in terms of what today's topic discussion will be. And it's around IT security, cybersecurity, and what we're doing to secure our data, your data, and hardening our devices, both at a hardware level and a software level. So Commend, for those that don't know, we are a security communications manufacturer. We were founded in 1971, so I've been around for nearly 53 years. We're manufactured in Salzburg in Austria, where all of our innovation, all of our manufacturing, testing, quality control takes place. So some of you, I recognise a few faces, some of you know of Commend, others perhaps don't, or maybe you've heard Commend but didn't know it's us. There's quite often a bit of a saying here at Commend that we're often heard but not seen. But a brief introduction to kind of what we do. We are known in the industry for making intercoms. That's what we're primarily known for, but we're a bit more than that. So to give an example of the types of products that we offer, we do emergency refuge communications, emergency lift communications. That's both for trapped passenger, but also for firefighting and evacuation purposes. We've got quite an extensive range of PA solutions, both line-fed systems, but also IP-based speakers. And in addition to that, we do have a fully compliant PA/VA, so a PA/VA voice alarm system. A new range of products are typically like touchscreen interactive intercom devices, but we also make customer information screens, so platform devices that you might see on the RAL platform, on the RAL network. And it applies to our passenger help points as well. But we're also seen in places like custody suites and prison cells. So just give you kind of a flavour of what Commend do and our background. So unlike sort of CCTV systems and other sort of systems that are sort of kept out of arm's reach, intercom communications are designed to be interacted with and engaged with. It's there at time of need, so it needs to be at hand to providing audio and video communications. But we understand that there are challenges and complications with using IP devices, particularly when you've got devices in public-facing spaces. Now, that could be in pedestrian accesses, vehicle access areas in the public street. So today's presentation, we're going to look at what makes our solution secure. As I've said before, how we protect our data, your data, and how we harden our devices. So privacy and security by design, it's more than just a catchphrase. How does privacy and security by design work? The basic principle is easy. It's providing the best possible protection of both transferred data, i.e. audio, video streams, and stationary data, i.e. stored user or system data, against unauthorized access in order to ensure the availability of products and services. The methods used to achieve this range from latest generation cryptography to secure standard internet protocols and a comprehensive defense in-depth strategy. Commend products are always designed, developed and incorporated in customer solutions in accordance with this security criteria. System functions integrate natively and seamlessly with built-in security components. This lets Commend solutions stand out against other systems and apply add-on security components respectively. A pivotal aspect of this strategy is the shift left approach. It brings security testing forward in the development process, integrating it into the early stages of product design and coding, rather than just waiting until a product is fully developed. To keep up with the fast-paced technical developments with respect to security and design, Commend maintains research and development partnerships with third-party manufacturers, other security experts and universities, while leveraging its membership in security-specific organisations such as the Centre for Internet Security. So here's just an architectural overview of our system, comprising the edge devices, the network infrastructure and the service platform. Here at the beginning, you'll see we have our actual intercom devices. So that can be, like I said before, that could be your information screens, your PA, your visual indications and cameras. And then you've got your actual network infrastructure, including ways Commend can provide additional layers of security, which we'll discuss further, followed by our services. So a few key benefits with our cloud-native multi-tenant platform offers highest availability, high levels of IT security, and incredibly scalable, so easy can go from one device, hundreds of thousands more. So security and privacy by design. So here's just a few key physical aspects of our intercom devices. So they have to be robust. They're built of high-grade steel, minimum sort of 3 millimeters thick. They're vandal resistant. So majority of our intercom devices are IK9 rated, with a few that are actually IK10 rated. They come with tamper detection. So with integration to, say, alarms, we can trigger a workflow that if a tamper was detected, you could cause the CCTV to trigger on the CCTV wall. We could play an announcement over the intercom device to say that you're being watched and security are on their way. And you can also send messages to mobile security operators. And then lastly, securing the door opener. So how do we do that? So we recently developed a new product called our IP Secure Connector. It's an additional layer of network security, so it provides high performance and security. If an unauthorized attempt is made to remove the station, i.e. to access the Ethernet cable connected to the device, the IP Secure Connector interrupts the connection to the station and a wider network. This ensures that it's neither possible to access the network or open the door at the gate, or gate. And the same automation can be applied to this scenario as well, where if you are tampering with the intercom device or trying to gain access to the IP network, not only will it cut the connection to the network, but it will notify control room staff, so you can create your own cause and effect. In addition to this, the IP Secure Connector provides power in the form of PoE+, and has onboard 2 inputs and 3 outputs. So those outputs that are on board the IP Secure Connector can be used to safely, securely trigger barrier or door releases, rather than utilising the onboard relays that you commonly find on intercom devices. So it just adds an added layer of security. So with regards to data security, encryption of industry standard for voice, video and data, and that protects against unauthorized access. To just give an example of the types of protocols that we support across our system, you have HTTPS, MQTTS, SIP Secure, SRTP, and TLS, that's the Transport Layer Security. Our cloud platform, so it is a Microsoft cloud platform with secure data centers with multiple levels of security. Fail safety, so 99.98% uptime. So the platform itself, the mechanism in place will have the ISO 27001 certifications as well as us. And the Microsoft promise that no unauthorized access to your information. So who's the owner of your data? It's you and only you. So fail safety through distributed server intelligence. So self-sufficient systems, so no server required. Uninterrupted operation, even if the internet connection is not working. So our devices, although it may well be primarily connected to a cloud-based or an on-prem system, they do work serverless. So there's an actual failover. And that's in a SIP serverless sort of fail-safe manner. So it's important to listen to the architects, your IT champions, or it could be your system integrators or your manufacturers. The most important factor in cybersecurity, which is a core element of our development, including pen testing, regular updates, security advisory and communication, it's privacy and security by design. As you can see, we were the first intercom manufacturer to be ISO 27001 certified. That's all about how we protect our data and your data, and how we work as a business. And then we also were the first intercom manufacturer to be IEC 62443-4-1, and it's all about the actual product itself, how it's hardened, and the development cycle of that product. So Commend is a world leader, leading provider for security intercom products and services. We live security and communication and are certified according to the ISO 27001 standard. We know security is something that is expected. Security by design is kind of a mindset for us on how to develop hardware and software. We follow technical and organizational security best practices defined by ISO 27001. Such as development process and transparent vulnerability management with product security in mind. Furthermore, we develop processes and procedures in detail to ensure confidentiality to customer data, full system integrity, and the high availability of products and services. So how does Commend live security by design? We provide best practice to secure customer data in transport and at rest by using state-of-the-art cryptography, standard internet protocols, and defense in-depth strategy. Security measure everywhere with a defense depth strategy, a device security, data security, application security, and platform security. Secure standard internet protocols, i.e. TLS and SSH, HTTP, MQTT, and SIP network access security using 802.1x, 802.1q VLAN, secure cryptography by default, encrypted and authenticated communication with Commend signed device certificates. So physical access security. We've got, as we mentioned before, it's the vandal resistant of the stations, including the stations, the tamper protection to act against vandalism and tampering with the devices, and we also incorporate USB and debugging port security. Now, under network access security, as we mentioned before, 802.1q VLAN standard, often referred to as .1q, is a networking standard that supports virtual LAN area networking. 802.1x authentication, it provides an authentication mechanism to devices wishing to attach to a LAN, and then coupled with our IP secure connector to cut the line to the internal network should there be a compromise or potential tampering. And then device endpoint security, so offline availability. So as we said, that if the on-prem platform or the cloud-based platform goes offline, there is built-in intelligence to the intercom devices to continue to operate at a basic level. SSH remote maintenance disabled by default. SSH and bcrypt salted passphrases and credential hash. Bcrypt is a password hashing function. So data in transit security, encrypted and authenticated communication. So TLS version 1.2 plus with secure cipher suites. The TLS protocol aims primarily to provide security, including privacy, i.e. confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity through the use of cryptography. X509 is a Commend device certificates. It's a standard defining the format of public key certificates. And then data at rest security. So from our cloud-based platform, it's an Azure database and storage via the platform as a service. The Azure storage access with device certificates, device-specific SAS token. SAS tokens to grant time-bounded access to devices and specific services to specific functionality. And then we've got AES state-of-the-art data encryption, as we mentioned before, SHA and bcrypt, which is the password hashing function. For application security, so Our Virtuosis is a virtualized offering of our software platform. It's designed, or it's compatible with the likes of VMware, Hyper-V, Nutanix, so the top sort of three virtualized platforms. Nutanix is becoming quite popular now with its ability to support multiple hypervisors, so we are sort of seeing a lot of uptake with our virtualized platform on the Nutanix platform because of that function. As I mentioned before, with the ability to operate even if the server platform goes offline. So under device application security, so offline availability, including SIP calls we mentioned before. Login credentials change enforced at first login. So first time you use the device, change the default passwords, of course. We enforce that as part of our system. And then a minimal character length for passwords. So this is kind of effectively what the new PSTI standard requires. So it's an enforced password change, minimal character lengths, coupled with our vulnerability disclosure policy, which we'll go in a bit more detail a bit later. And then login brute force detection and network port security. From our mobile application perspective, so with our cloud platform, we have the ability to install apps on your phone so you can be able to answer the call anywhere. Login credentials obviously enforced. Secret storage in Enclave, so Secret Enclave is a dedicated secure subsystem integrated into Apple systems on chip. The secure Enclave is isolated from the main processor to provide an extra layer of security. And of course, with all of this, we have brute force detection capabilities. So on our cloud platform, zero auth identity and access management. Zero auth is an open standard framework for API authorization. Azure Secure Center monitoring. Azure Key Vault Secrets management, used to securely store and tightly control access to tokens, passwords, certificates, and API keys. Azure Storage Service Encryption and Database Transport Data Encryption. Open source and vulnerability management, so use of de facto standard libraries for authentication and encryption mechanisms. We contribute to open source platforms such as Asterisk and Bearsip. Continuous vulnerability monitoring and Commend security advisories. And then lastly, secure standard internet protocols with the focus on interoperability and security. So this page is just an example of sort of protocols that we support. But what are protocols? Actually, protocols is kind of a contract designed for interoperability. Secure standard internet protocols are defined to target interoperability and security. So let's look from the bottom up. Under network access security, you've got your 802.1x that we discussed earlier. Under the transport security, we've got TLS. And under the application security, we support HTTPS, MQTTS, SIP-S, and SRTP. Obviously, S meaning a secure version of that protocol. And with regards to integration, where we use an OPC-based integration, the OPC UA stack utilizes the HTTPS and web services. So this next section is around certificates and how we use them. So Commend certificates establish transport layer security for secure communication. This standard internet protocol is kind of an all-in-one security layer for HTTPS, MQTTS, SIP-S, and SRTP. It provides mutual authentication from client to server and encrypted communication. All our application and services run this protocol to keep data in transit protected from unauthorized disclosure and manipulation. First, we see that Commend certificates use authentication and the secret key exchange between server and client. Next, we see that all certificates are validated against the certification path and the expiring time, as well as the possibility that are revoked and hence no longer valid. Finally, both of the devices are able to communicate encrypted. All this happens, of course, in fractions of a second. So let's take a short excursion into cryptography, which is used. So with regards to cryptography, wire letters and envelopes, the preferred way to send private messages. We want to keep sensitive information protected from disclosure to the public. Secret key crypto is like a letter in an envelope protected by a single secret key. That's to protect the private message, to protect data in transit and at rest, and to protect against unauthorized information disclosure. So, problem, how do we transmit the secret key between the sender and the recipient? Would you send the secret key within another envelope too? Probably not. So let's think about the idea of a key pair, a private key for you and a public key for all others. Public key cryptography is like an envelope in mailbox protected by public key, and only the authorized recipient can open it with a private key. So that's to protect a short private message, including key material, to exchange messages between multiple senders and a single receiver, and to prove integrity of documents signed digitally. So the next problem, how can we trust the digital signature of somebody unknown? Would you accept a digital identity card from anybody? No, but what if it was signed by, say, Commend? Certificates are like identity cards linked to a public key and signed by a trusted party. That's to authenticate the sender of the message, to identify the origin of the message, that's me, and to verify trusted digital signatures. The Commend Public Key Infrastructure, or PKI, remains the root of trust which signs device and application certificates for a mutual authenticated and encrypted communication. So how does that work? So when we say CA, we're referring to certificate authority. We run a hierarchical PKI to secure our Commend root CA private keys from disclosure. All intermediate CAs are signed by Commend root. Such intermediate CAs are issuing devices and mobile app certificates. So defense in depth strategy. So just to summarize what we've discussed already, we're ISO 27001 certified. We're certified to IEC 62443. We've got multiple layers of security. We've got device, data, application, platform-based security. We use standard internet protocols, such as network access security and IP secure connectors, the 802.1q standard, the 802.1x standard, TLS, and as we mentioned, state-of-the-art cryptography. So one of the common themes with Commend is this word trust. We're constantly on the defense against IT threats. It's a never-changing environment. So it's important that we're continuously aware of risks and have the processes in place to counter them, hence the certifications of the ISO 27001 and IEC 62443 and secure by design. It's important we're open and transparent. So as part of this, we have our vulnerability disclosure policy, where we're actively monitoring and disclosing where there are possible weaknesses have been identified, and that's through our regular pen testing of our systems. So here you'll find details on the type of vulnerability that we've detected, the device or services that's been affected by this, the severity of the vulnerability, and a CVSS score, a common vulnerability scoring system, as well as the publish date, summary of the vulnerability, software updates needed, and also a workaround if there is one. And that builds trust. So for us, it's important that where we are actively monitoring the industry and looking at where there are potential weaknesses or vulnerabilities, it's important for us that information is in the hands of the client with no barriers. We're not going through multiple channels. They can register themselves, system integrators can register themselves, and as soon as that vulnerability is detected, you're in a position to provide workarounds or patches or fixes. So I hope you found this session useful, and of course I welcome any feedback that you may have. Thank you everybody for your time, really appreciate that, and also if anyone wants to discuss any of these points further, I'm more than happy to have a chat afterwards. Thank you.